Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm chatting with Koby Kushner from Athena Gold. Now, if you've been following our channel, you know we had John Power, the former CEO of Athena, on this show about a year ago. Now, this is a torquey little gold exploration play that has a resource estimate level project in Nevada and an exploration stage project in Red Lake. But they've now got a young, exciting CEO who knows the gold exploration business. I was really excited when I first met Koby, being an investor in the company, because now we've got some new blood into it and somebody who's got a new vision on how he wants to build it out. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Koby, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Stu.
Look, gold's had a little bit of a slow week, but prior to this week, every morning I go to check my phone. Feels like, or felt like, we were hitting all-time highs. And I fully expect that we're going to be back there soon once the election gets taken over. We can do the Peter Schiff thing and say heads, gold goes up, tails goes gold up, gold goes up, no matter what the scenario is. And I do personally, I believe that. But I'm curious here. You're CEO of a junior gold company. You've decided to attach your life to gold here, or at least your professional life. Why are you bullish on gold?
Man, I've been in gold since fresh out of university, right? Like I started my career working on underground gold mines, open pit gold mines. I'm bullish on gold because I am bearish on the economy, to answer your question. I am worried about what is happening globally, what is happening over in the Middle East, what's happening in Ukraine, what China might do in Taiwan. And I'm worried about inflation, and I'm worried about the fall of the US dollar.
Okay, very succinct. So let's get into Athena Gold. We previously had the old CEO on. I believe his name was John Power, and
That's right.
we're invested in the company. My buddy Jason got us into it, and they got a nice little gold deposit in Nevada. But here you're brought in along with a project, I believe, in Ontario. What's the high level overview of the company now, and why did you choose to get involved with Athena?
Yeah. So let's think of it more as Athena 2.0. This is a new company. We've got two flagship assets now, and we've got a new management team in place. So, let's call it, or think of it as Athena 2.0, or the next evolution in it. So I still run a private explorer focused in Ontario, which I co-founded alongside the Goodmans. And when we're sifting through ground, you often stumble upon all kinds of projects, and we wanted to keep that kind of separate from investors who might be into lithium but might not be into gold, and vice versa. We didn't want to combine it into one, really, because we didn't think that we'd get full value for either if we did that. So we picked up a gold asset that I've personally had my eyes on since 2017, 2018, back when I was working in Red Lake. So this project is in Red Lake. And what we did is we vended our Ontario gold assets into a public company. Now, you talk about your buddy Jason. Jason was one of the first people that I showed this project to. And he said, Koby, there's this company that I'm involved in. It's called Athena Gold. It's in Nevada. And, maybe there's some synergies here, to be able to unlock flow through. Plus, you guys have a great team. Like, this team doesn't really have a dedicated technical team, and you do. So maybe there's a way. And this company, they made a discovery, and they need some help to be able to repeat those types of intercepts that they're getting. And we worked out a deal where we vended our gold assets into Athena, and we also took over the company. So that's myself coming in as CEO, our VP Exploration, Ben Kuzmic, coming in as well as Andrew Jedeman, our Exploration Manager. and David Goodman is coming in as chairman. And yeah, that's kind of the origin of this. And what we liked about their flagship Excelsior project was this was kind of a hidden gem in a little nano cap company. We were able to get a big position in something where the discovery has already been made and where we think that there's something big to delineate here with some real science. So we put a data room together and looked at this thing on a big picture. What we're looking at are 3 historic mines that we think actually represent a large scale open pit, pitable target. I'm sure you've seen that before, Steve, where someone looks at old historic mines, wraps a pit around it. There's a wider alteration halo around these veins. Malarctic is no exception to that. Detour Gold, which was the first mine I worked at, is no exception to that. Hopefully that answers your question, Steve.
So Athena 2.0 is not, it's not really pure grassroots exploration here. You're starting off with an asset that has, I believe, over 1 million ounces of inferred in the ground. But still, there's tons of gold companies out there. There's only right now limited number of people that are buying shares in explorers. I'm only in this business and I only have this YouTube channel because I believe that that's going to grow. Just like your thesis on gold, it's eventually going to trickle in. But still, at the end of the day, your ability to move this company forward and for investors to say, I want to buy this stock, I want to own Athena, is your ability to go and convince everybody on the street that this is a good deal and that Koby is the man who can move this project forward. How do you go about doing that? What's the strategy to take Athena 2.0 and turn it into something bigger? What's the long-term idea here?
Well, let's start with the goal and work backwards. Similar, it kind of an analog is, in this case, we're starting with a discovery that's already been made, and we're working backwards to be able to know where to drill next. This is a structurally controlled system. Let's figure out the structure. That's the first thing that we're going to do. From there, we're going to bring in, for the first time ever, oriented core. Historically, only RC drilling has been done here. Nevertheless, they're able to get world-class intercepts. These are, by all measures, world-class intercepts. Talking 4 grams over 52 meters, 3.5 grams over 35 meters. Sorry, that's 5.5 grams over 35 meters. So what we ideally want to do is delineate a multi-million ounce deposit. So that's our goal. And how do we do that? Let's drill. How do we know where to drill? Let's figure out the structure. That's hopefully a nice, concise way of putting it.
But still, I mean, retail investors, they often look at this stuff and they don't understand what they're looking at, right? Like we get these news releases, they're highly technical. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, they're sitting at home and they're going, well, first off, if it even ends up in their hands and for some reason they find themselves looking at the news release, they have no idea what they're looking at. How do you get these people to look just past the technicals and get excited about the company? Do you believe that starts off with just going and getting the most sophisticated investors out there on board and then the rest will follow?
I'm not necessarily a believer, if you build it, they will come. I think you have to convey the message the right way. To your point, there's what I find often happens from guys who are highly technical is they get too deep into the weeds and they lose people. And it's important to tell that story. And fortunately, in my 2 years as a Southside equity research analyst, I was on the phone with all kinds of people of different levels of geological knowledge. And some things that I like to do is convey a message that by using comparisons. So, for example, people know AngloGold. AngloGold has, in my view, the best discovery in North America made in the last 20 years, and that's the expanded silicon deposit. And if you include their North Bullfrog projects, that's 2 projects in one. in the Walker Lane, right where we are at Excelsior, that's 16.6 million ounces. The silicon deposit alone, just the silicon deposit alone, is 4.2 million ounces in measured, indicated, and inferred. And if you look at a map as to what that looks like on the surface, you don't need to be a geologist to see it, but there's a 3.5 kilometer alteration halo, right? And what we have at Excelsior is a 3.5 kilometer long alteration halo. It's a very similar structural setting. It's a very similar alteration footprint. And our discovery intercept is actually very similar to their discovery intercept. And right now, that deposit, similar story, historic gold mines re-envisioned as a large-scale open pit. And now that's going into production next year. That's what we're trying to mimic here at Excelsior. And right now, the early signs are highly, highly promising. Here's why they're promising, because they look similar to silicon in its early days.
Okay, got it. So if I'm watching the company here, if I'm an investor watching the company, or I'm, doing my homework on names that I think have a lot of torque, and I go, okay, I want to put Athena on my watch list. What am I watching out for over the next year? How are you guys going to be moving it forward from a corporate development standpoint, and what should I expect from the company for the next year?
Sure. So let's break it down by project. So at Excelsior Springs, the plan is to, going back to understanding the structure. Yeah, the news releases aren't going to be super sexy when we're announcing the new mapping results. So that's actually going out. The crew is mobilizing next week. Structural mapping, the whole project. Then we're going to dig about maximum 2 meters deep, and we're going to actually look at what the gold looks like in 3 dimensions. Hopefully we'll be able to announce some good trench results. Obviously it's drilling. That's what people want to see, and that's what we plan to do. We, for the first time ever, we'll be bringing in oriented core, and the goal is to be drilling in the first half of next year. But we don't want to rush to drill. That's why we want to do the boring stuff first. You got to do your homework in order to hit it out of the park. At Laird Lake, so I didn't really touch on this, but this is a different stage. This is a grassroots project, and it's in the Red Lake Gold Camp. So if you're familiar with Red Lake, there's 2 major rock groups, and I'm not going to get too technical here, but you've got the Balmer rocks, you've got the Confederation rocks. Where those rocks meet, within 300 meters is where you want to be. That's where 94% of all the gold ever mined in Red Lake occurs. They occur within 300 meters of that Balmer Confederation contact. And this is a famous gold camp that's produced, all 30 plus million ounces of them.
When I rewatch this, I'm going to write that down. I've never heard that before. That's a really interesting thing to know.
Yeah. It's in a way, the exploration model is already very much defined in Red Lake. And naturally, if you look at a map, we have it on our deck. If you look at a map that shows all historic drilling in Red Lake, anywhere where that contact has been mapped historically has seen a lot of drilling, right? This is a mature camp that's produced over 30 million ounces. They've been exploring this camp heavily since the 1920s, and some of the world's best gold mines are here. The one exception to where we've got about 10 kilometers of virtually untested contact between the Balmer and Confederation rocks, virtually untested, has barely seen any drilling, has barely seen any work. The reason for that is because historically this project was all mapped as Confederation. It was only very recent that a student did her master's research on this project and identified that there's Balmer rocks here. She mapped out about 10 kilometers of Balmer Confederation contact. And to my knowledge, we're going to be the first company to actually go and systematically look at this piece of ground and do some real exploration on it. So we're going to hit Laird Lake hard. It is earlier stage, so it's going to be a little longer before we could drill. And it is in Ontario, northwestern Ontario, so exploration work is somewhat seasonal as well. So next year, we want to where we want to do all of our workup, and then hopefully we'll be able to do enough work to know where we're going to drill for the winter of 2025.
Very well, Koby. Thanks for hopping on here. I love seeing young guys, especially based out of Toronto, that are working gold deals as opposed to the other city I won't mention in Canada that seems to have a lot of young CEOs in gold deals that don't go anywhere. So thanks for hopping on here. Let's continue to talk as you guys roll out on your strategy. And as an investor in Athena, who's been in it for, I think, a couple of years now, I'm really happy to see that you got involved with the company.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Steve.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks, everyone.